Big news in the world of Nintendo this week. The Nintendo Switch 2. We now have more details about it, so now we can now piece more things together as to why this console was delayed. Now, there was no official delay, but based on when we thought the Switch 2 would be out, which was the end of this year, I do think there was a little bit of a delay here. Now, it seems like the delay has more to do with the games rather than the console itself. Now let me explain. Nintendo announced this week that the console would be backwards compatible, meaning you can play all your Switch 1 games on the Nintendo Switch 2. The reason why this is a big deal is that there's always been this thing with Nintendo, and everybody knows it, that is, based on their history, based on their track record, the Switch 2 will be a complete failure. If we're just going based on their history, this next console should fail. And this is the thing that we all know Nintendo's been thinking about. And this is the reason why backwards compatibility is such a big deal that they had to announce it, because that does get us excited. Because the number one problem their last failure console had, the Wii U, was a lack of games.
We'll make this quick. Pew!
So, already letting us know that the Switch 2 is coming and all of your Switch games will be playable on the Switch 2 is a big markup, because that means that a lot of the games that you have now will be playable then. But there's two more really big things here we should keep in mind. The last time Nintendo made a console, upscaling wasn't a thing, or at least the idea was just coming into inception. But now, upscaling is a big deal. So, number one question is there going to be any kind of upscaling options to where you can perhaps play Tears of the Kingdom upscale to 4K. Now that seems simple enough, and if you know anything about gaming, you would say, cool, Nintendo should do that. But if you know anything about Nintendo, you know that they're going to find a way to do something that's very Nintendo-like.
Here we go!
And when it comes to Nintendo, here's that thing. We know that the Switch 1 is currently the number 2 highest selling console, right? Right behind PS2. We also know that Nintendo wants to be the number 1 selling console of all time and beat the PS2. I think that means that for the next 2 to 3 years, I think every game that's going to release from Nintendo will release both on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. But here's where it can get a little bit trickier. And yes, there is already conversations that Nintendo might try to do something like this, which is that you could play your old games on the Switch 2 and it will be the same, but then Nintendo is going to resell you those games and just upscale them for you and just resell it back to you. In other words, you can play Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch 2, but then Nintendo is going to release a Tears of the Kingdom enhanced edition that you can buy. So even if the console can upscale, Nintendo might not do the upscaling for free. They might charge you to get your games upscaled. So that's the two biggest potentials. Let me know what you think below. As always, please like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again.